I'm going to pick up on the go-kart thing. You brought it up. I didn't.
Yep.
Go-kart facilities overseas. What are the best ones? How do the best ones operate?
They're privately owned. So the best one in the UK and one of the best in Europe is called Paul Fletcher International, PF International, and he went off and built his own kart track. It's sensational. But Italy's the home of karting, and some of the tracks there are pretty sensational. They've got a bit of a recipe of what they do. They're fairly flat, so it's easy to see everything that's going on. But they use them a lot. Some of these kart tracks are being used all the time.
Just for go-karts, though?
Generally, but some of the ones in Italy now, they use them for the motorbike racing, the mini moto.
Is that where Rossi started?
That's why he started on motorbikes.
Right. Yeah. So would that be feasible here? Could we have if we end up with a go-kart track here, could we, have mini moto, or could we do driver training on it? Is that feasible too?
Yeah, well, some of the kart tracks, the big ones in Italy, they do a little bit of driver training on them because some of those kart tracks are nearly 1.5 kilometres for a lap, and they've got other sections to it. So if you're not using the karts, you can do some driver training and give people their first chance on their L plates to actually drive without trying to find out on the public road and whatnot.
Yeah.
In my opinion, any facility you build, it has to be have multiple purposes, because we don't have the population, the numbers. It's just about trying to make money, and it has to be financially viable. We spoke about the mini moto thing. That's already happening up the coast. They're racing those things up there, and there's kids have now gone to Europe that are racing in the Moto GP.
Just in terms of running a go-kart, if you want to be competitive, what sort of dollars are you looking at?
Yeah, well, it's always the how long's a piece of string type thing.
Let's say really, entry level, but seriously competitive.
Entry level, and to be competitive, you have to spend, I don't know, 25,000. Where we are here, we're lucky because Lithgow got a great track. They got a great facility, a great track, and they're good people. And that Orange is one of as good a track as you'd ever see anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, and Dubbo's got a great track. And so we're lucky that the travel is not so big. Now, if Bathurst got a track, well, that'd be great, but it would just add to the riches that we've got here for GoKart Tracks.
I'm all for it if it's appropriately funded and we can make it work. And I like the idea of it being multi-purpose.
Oh, for sure. And I think maybe with that second track, there might have been an opportunity to integrate the go-karts there. I don't know.
If you could wave your magic wand and do whatever you would like to do with Mount Panorama, what would it be, including potentially the second track? Well,
there's two things. The first thing is...
Oh, you've thought about it.
I wouldn't do too much in some way. I don't want that track to be changed and to have it billiard table smooth or no bumps and have all this runoff and it becomes just another same as everything else. That's the first thing. Second thing, keep working away at just making the facilities a bit better for the people who actually pay to turn up and watch. So the average people, and they pay a lot of money to go and watch these things now, they need somewhere to get out of the sun or somewhere to get out of the rain. There's not a lot of that when you see that for a lot of the fans. We've got to be a sort of customer focused. So those people that come into Bathurst to go to Mount Panorama, we need to look after them. We just can't go, oh, well, they'll turn up next year and the year after. If we can just, I don't want to change the track. I don't want to change the feeling that you get when you go to Mount Panorama. I don't want to change that. But if we can just keep remembering to look after the people better with a little bit better facilities all the time, not just the corporates, they get a good enough go. We've got to, they get looked after pretty well. All the ordinary people that go there give them access, look after them. I think that's a really, really important thing. Italy's, you know, everyone goes on about Ferrari and everything there, how it's really big on motor racing. You generally, most of the motorsport events you go there, there's no one, and because they're just not interested anymore. So we, you know, and they took some of the fans for granted, I think, and we just have to look, you know, it just makes sense. I think we've got people coming to Bathurst, we want to look after them.
What would you say to young girls or guys who you know would really like to pursue a career in this? What's the best advice you can give them?
The best advice is find out the facts about it for yourself. Now, if they're 10 years old, it's going to be very hard for them to find out the facts, because it generally, if they're going to go racing when they're that age, it's mum and dad are into it and they're going to fund them and all that. But if they're starting later, and if they don't have the wealth and they're starting later, they have to look at it and go, okay, what's achievable for me? I've got my dreams, but that doesn't always happen. What's achievable? And how can I make myself strong that I can learn to find the money, to develop my skills, to maximize the time that I've got in that go-kart, because it costs so much money every lap that I do, and go from there and be the best that I can at what I'm doing. And if that means that they'll be doing a certain level of go-karting and that's all they can afford, but they have to be the best at that, or somebody at the junior level at the light car club in their club activities, and they've only got an ordinary little car, but it's about maximising all those opportunities. After that, you've got to be good at finding money. You've got to be either good at making money or be good at talking people into giving you some of their money, and be really clever with the sponsorship, or sweet talking guys like me to push around to find the money, or to know the teams or know the people who might put. And I've done that for a few people where we've been able to coax a team owner to take a bit of a gamble. It's funny, it's hard to describe, but there's places you go to in the world in motor racing where you get there's just this bit of a buzz when you turn up. And Mount Panorama is one of them. When you turn up there, you drop down that, you go past the university, you drop down the hill, and oh, here we are, you know. And the Nurburgring's the same, Spa's the same, Monza. There's a pretty special feeling when you go to these places, let alone when you get to drive around them. So I think we're lucky. You know, I think it's been a lot of hard work by a lot of different people have got it to where it is now.
Thanks, Mike. It's just, it makes me look at it with fresh eyes when you describe it like that. Yeah, it's great. The other thing I would add, we've been talking about Mount Panorama all the way through it, but when I speak about Mount Panorama, I'm talking really about the circuit. You know, we have Walu so I would just like to make mention of that. But I'm not dismissing that. It's just our focus has been on the racetrack today, which, you know, obviously is Mount Pan. It's really helpful for me to get some insight, and I know you're thoughtful about feeling like you're coming in as a bit of an outsider, but it does bring fresh eyes to the situation here, and they're highly experienced too. So thanks so much for your time.